Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Show to Be with Mike G, the show of life, the show of rye whiskey, the show of Colorado motorcycles, Fugazi, the Ramones. We've got it all today in this chat with the amazing Sean Kenyon of Occidental and Williams and Graham in Colorado. He and 5 other compatriots, on behalf of Woody Creek Distillery, made some travels to Tales of the Cocktail this year, and Austin was one of the stops, Half Step to be exact. Sean and I sat down and talked and sipped some of the amazing spirits from Woody Creek Distillery. We get into a lot of things, of course, but in this brief chat, you can imagine we dove right in to the punk rock music. So without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy this chat with Sean Kenyon.
I'm not a drummer. You can guess. You can guess from there. Yeah. I played bass.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That makes some sense.
Yeah.
You know Omar, right? You foon?
Yeah.
We talked about Craig Alvarez all day when I interviewed him.
The reason I first started playing bass was that it was almost a laziness thing as a 10-year-old kid. It just seemed like it would be easier to learn 4 strings. And then
Are you guys like really close friends? That's like same answer.
Yeah.
But Omar says like, 6 is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I know Omar pretty well, but
it's like, it's funny because I go through this. What's the vision of the show? Should we talk about distillation? Should we talk about the industry? I'm like, no, fuck, I want to talk about bands.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what it comes down to. Now we'll talk about this amazing rye whiskey of many things, but like, we couldn't help and talk about Lagwagon and the Rev and fucking Descendants for about half an hour, you know?
No, and that's what I'm getting to explore a whole bunch of that with Occidental, because I can play whatever the fuck music I want. My new bar.
The bar, because I was looking at it today, you've got like a very Sex Pistols kind of font on the menu, which looks rad, like totally kind of newspaper cut. Yeah. Would you say there was a band that helped you shape that aesthetic for that place, or just was it a culmination of stuff?
No, it was more about the movement itself and the way punk rock developed into hardcore, developed into genres of hardcore, and then when it started out very simple with punk rock being just minimalist and edgy and extremely, the attitude was there.
Who's the prototypical punk rock band for you? I know it's hard. We'll go West Coast.
I'm an East Coast guy. So
okay.
I'm an East Coast guy completely, and I vacillate, when I answer that question between Dead Boys, Fear, and Misfits, and because it's. I mean, if you think about those three, it's completely out there. Like those bands for me, Ramones, if you were to shove Ramones into a genre, they would be like top 40 punk, what I mean? But back then, it
was an amazing thing
punk
then.
As fuck. Like those guys were a fucking mess.
Fast, single, like no alternate picking. That's one thing I was like, my arm would get so tired.
And whatever the Ramones had on studio record, they played at like 1.5 speed live, and it was fucking amazing. And
wait, so you telling me you saw the Ramones?
I've seen the Ramones more than any other band in my life.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And I've seen the Ramones probably like original lineup into anywhere from like 1982 to 1988. I probably saw the Ramones, no exaggeration, about 30 to 40 times.
Are you fucking kidding me?
They were junkies, man. They played every 2 weeks. They needed to make their money. So you saw them at the Ritz, when the Ritz was in the East Village.
Wow.
Which is now the Ritz. So the Ritz used to be in the East Village. Then it moved to the old Studio 54 space on 54th.
Okay.
but the Ritz is what is the name? I forget the name of the bar. It's 13th Street or 12th. Yeah, it's 13th Street between. No, it's actually 12th Street. 11th. No, it's 11th between 3rd and 4th.
Yeah.
Right there, which is now I forget the name of. There's a club, a nightclub there that's pretty well known.
Give me kind of like how old are you? Are you angsty and like real prime for the taking?
Yeah. No, I was 47 years old. So so I mean my 13th year of life. I mean I started playing in punk rock bands.
Anything I would have heard of?
No,
you were in the Cro-Mags, weren't you?
Yeah, I wish. Well, except for the racist part, because early on they were super racist, but then they try to pretend like that never happened, which is funny. But no, I mean I played in a band called R Chaos, which was Random Chaos, but and it turned out to be R Chaos, and a band called Done for a bunch of years.
So what was it about? Like Fugazi was, because I'm a little bit older.
Yeah,
about 10 years younger than you.
So Fugazi I consider post-punk.
Yes,
right.
Yes, Minor Threat though was probably the pulse.
Minor Threat being in the hardcore. That hardcore. There's so many. Every city had their own genre of music. You know what I mean? New York hardcore. There was DC hardcore, which is mostly like straight edge and weird.
GI what's Teenage Idols, right?
Teen Idols. Yeah, Teen Idols. Yeah. That was even pre Minor Threat.
Yeah.
Stuff that was out there. And we used to drive down to DC to go see bands. And
fucking
it was
serious?
fucking incredible.
You were. I envy that a lot because I lived all around.
You envy that I'm old, which is, I think it's hilarious.
Did you get in any fights?
It's actually funny because Leo DeGraff, who's also on the ride, and we both have what I would call checkered histories of fighting, and like we can sit for hours and hours and just tell fight stories. Of being
he's
in the
pretty
punk
tall,
scene.
right? He seems like he's got a good reach.
Yeah,
he's like 6 feet plus,
and
right?
I've been boxing since I was 10.
No shit, like Billy Joel.
Yeah. I mean, he better fight with that music. But you've seen his wives. He's not doing that bad. But
never did. Yeah.
But it was part of the culture. Like where I grew up in suburban New Jersey, man. I didn't grow up in like anywhere hard or anything like that. I was born in Paterson, which is hard. I lived in Jersey City and Lower Manhattan after a bunch of years, but where I grew up, like in Glen Rock, New Jersey, is it's literally like what you would consider ultra suburbia.
Yeah.
And we had very wealthy people in town, and my family lived in like what I think was one of the only 2-family houses in the whole fucking town.
No shit.
Like wealthy people all around us, and we lived on the second floor of a shitty rundown house.
Outcast in a sense, I guess. Yeah.
So sort of an outcast. My brother and I both, we lived that, and I went one way in a punk rock way, and that's right. What's that? Yeah. I mean, and my brother went in a different. He went the metal direction. I went in the punk rock direction.
It's not so bad. That was a good time for metal. You talk 82, man.
It's funny because I used to tell my brother he was a fucking pussy for listening to AC/DC and Judas Priest and stuff like that, but I actually love that music now, man.
It's
actually
great.
At Occidental a lot. We'll dial up like Iron Maiden Pandora for a night, or Dio Pandora. Just because that music brings back memories for people, it makes people fucking happy.
Well, there's nothing like aesthetically. There's nothing like that now. There's nothing. It's all so clean. It's all so processed, man. Like you listen to Ian MacKay, whatever. You listen to him fucking scream, he sounds like an idiot.
Yeah.
But it's so powerful in the context. Never tuned. No. Even the guitars are out of tune. You can hear the like drum.
Oh no, I've been there, and I've listened to those. I've listened to those guys. We got thrown out of the backstage of a Fugazi show because our drummer was drunk. We were friends of the promoter.
Oh shit!
And they were playing at the Academy in New York, and Ian MacKay had us thrown out of backstage.
What?
This is a funny story. Because we were out all backstage, our drummer's friend was drunk.
Right.
They made us. He was like, "We're not going on until you get rid of these guys." And the promoter was a friend of mine. He's like, "Look, Ian said they're not going on until you guys leave, but don't worry about it." What he did was he put us on the balcony that hung over the stage, pretty much. So, like the guy who made us get kicked out was pretty much double middle fingering.
Oh shit. Was he pouring beer and shit on you?
No, he didn't. We wouldn't let him do that because we didn't want to get thrown out because we want to see the fucking show because They were amazing.
They're insane. Like, and they never wrote a playlist. Ever.
Yeah, they were a fucking phenomenon. Like,
it's incredible.
They're a phenomenon. They watching them play and watching the energy that they had in their shows, and Fugazi was a magical band at that point. Then they become some sort of weird, like, punk rock fusion jam band in their later albums, which I didn't like. But early on, their first 3 albums, fucking incredible. The only thing is, if Ian could shut the fuck up in between songs and tell people stop telling people to stop,
like, moving.
Yeah,
stop moshing.
Yeah, stop moshing. Stop slamming. Stop doing that. You're hurting people. Fuck off.
He was absolutely silent when I saw him at Emos.
Oh wow.
Yeah, didn't say a fucking thing. I saw people getting punched.
Yeah,
it didn't matter. He didn't say anything.
Oh,
so
at Fugazi shows, and I saw Fugazi about 5-6 times.
Wow.
He stopped the band at 2 different shows. He stopped the band from playing because he was like, "You're hurting people. Stop. We're not going to play unless you stop hurting people." And that it would interrupt the energy of that whole thing.
Yeah.
And there was some sort of beauty of going into a pit like that, and you might leave with a black eye or you'll wake up the next morning with bumps and bruises, but
that's part of it. It's like a rite of passage, right?
It was so much a part of it.
Yeah.
It was to me a magical time to be a music fan. I actually feel, this is going to sound elitist as fuck, but I actually feel really bad for people that enjoy music right now, like music fans right now, because we had it. The people in my generation, right about 45 to 50.
Yeah.
We had an amazing time because shit was groundbreaking.
It was.
Now it's just a lot of retreads of things that were happening.
Because you got to sell. The thing that's always been good about Discord, for example, is that they didn't give they were doing it because they wanted to do it. They didn't necessarily need it to be a business, right? So like they put out this stuff, and so now anybody, I can't even think of a really great indie late. I mean, love Saddle Creek, but the stuff's really, really heavily produced,
We used to, it's funny because we used to think about it like, Fugazi shows were $5.
Yeah.
All their CDs or their 7 inches or, whatever they were making were $10.
Yeah.
And that was their thing. And they sold no fucking T-shirts.
Never.
Now
you know who sells them?
Yeah, there's
Urban Outfitter.
Yeah. You can find a Fugazi T-shirt at Urban Outfitters.
Insane, yeah.
Which, I don't know. I don't know where Ian Mackay is in all that, but it's pretty fucking.
He eats cheese now, and he likes French cheeses. I hear this. I had a friend that worked in D.C. Like he broke vegan and he softened up. It seems like. But you have to, man.
Yeah, I mean, he was always a little cunty.
Yeah, if you put like a lump of coal up your ass, you turn it into a diamond, right?
At some point, it's gonna be a diamond.
Yeah, it's gonna come back out. Did you hear about this shit with Brian Baker?
No.
From Bad Religion? I don't remember the band's name. There are probably some kids that are like 20, 21, and they actually, for Warped Tour this year, because Bad Religion's playing again, they put up a picture of the band, and it says, "These guys," as I like point my finger, like commanding, right? "These guys, like, don't stop them. Anybody that's with them gets in behind the band, like behind the scenes, behind the stage, right?" So Brian fucking Baker, which he's met him a couple times, and really amazing dude. He says, "You guys are really bad human beings." And so they attack him and they say, "You're a shitty guitar player." He's like, you don't get it. I'm saying you guys suck as humans, right? And it was caused this big feud, and it like never before had Brian Baker like been in the headlines like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's funny. I saw actually when I lived in Austin. Yeah. Like probably 98, and I'd have to actually go back and do the research of this. But the fucking Irwin Center, does the Irwin Center still exist?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Shit sounds
I don't know.
Just as shitty as it did in the 90s. Yeah.
I saw Prince at the Irwin Center and Nine Inch Nails. And I have weird stories because I worked at a strip club and I had to bring strippers to both shows.
Recall that.
Yeah, we could do this for a couple hours. But I saw fucking Bad Religion open up for Blink 182.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No. Yeah,
Did you leave?
It actually happened. No, what's the funny thing is, I left. I left like 3 songs into Blink 182. But when Blink, to their credit, I don't rarely in my life have I given Blink 182 any fucking credit. God damn it! Can we strike that from the record? They came out, and in the first minute, the band was like, "We want to let everybody here know that we feel like we should be opening for Bad Religion."
Fucking right.
Because they're fucking icons. And it's 1998. And by that point, Bad Religion had made 6 albums that all sounded exactly the fucking same.
Well, I mean, you go back to well, I don't even want to do it. I love that. One of my favorite punk band of all time, easily. Right?
Bad Religion.
Yeah, and I've got to meet
Bad
those
Religion
guys.
is fucking amazing.
Fucking killer. And even, how do you feel about Stranger Than Fiction, though? Even as a produced major label record on Atlantic, that's still a great fucking record.
I think from Against the Grain on, she just got kind of a little homogenized, and it was again and again. How many times can you release 21st Century Digital Boy?
I know.
But, I mean, how many times can you re-release, Melt With You or whatever the fucking English beat, or is it the English beat? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
it's been released 6, 7, 8 times.
But that you got to give them at least a little credence, because they are unapologetically themselves.
Yeah.
They're like Nicolas Cage in Leaving Las Vegas. They're a drunk and they know it, and they're just going down their path, man.
Yeah.
It's the same shit. It's incredible, that you. I love talking music always, and of course, I hopefully if you're in town again, I'd love to do it at the house. I've got Mess Council. Yeah. Just sit down and really, really dig into it.
That'd be
I know you guys
awesome.
are doing your tour. Basically, you got Charles, Leo, and yourself, right, that are here doing this thing.
Yeah, no, we got everybody. Everybody's here now. My wife is here. We got,
shit, that's awesome.
Charles Jolie, Ricky Gomez, Ken Cotis, Mike Huggins, Brian Dayton, Dylan Regan, he's the founder of Wandering Spirits, which is what this is all based around. Mary Wright and McLean, all people in our business, bartenders and spirit professionals.
That
are all motorcycle enthusiasts.
Oh, that's incredible. So is that's the medium?
Yeah, it's the medium.
Really?
We rode down here. That's
incredible.
Yeah, we rode. We got our motorcycles at 9:00 in the morning on Thursday. Yeah, and we rode from Denver to Santa Fe.
Yeah,
and we're stopping at whatever roadside attractions we can find.
Any good food?
Yeah, we stopped at. We had some great food. We actually today in Brady, Texas, we had an amazing lunch. Fucking blackened, at a Cajun spot.
Oh shit!
There, that people were really. Everything was really great. And here's the thing: is people can get political as fuck, but the food was great. The hospitality was amazing.
Right.
The people were so nice to us, even though we're unusual looking.
Sure. Tatted up, motorcycle wielding.
In Brady, which is not exactly a mecca, and they were so friendly to us. And the guy, our Wandering Spirits hats are blue with 2 red stars, and it says Wandering Spirits in the front.
Yeah.
And the guy who was taking care of me, he was so friendly to us when we got there and accommodated us in a big group. It was difficult. And his last word to me, he was like, "You guys are riding for Trump, right?" I was like, I was like,
damn it.
Well, my response was like, yeah. There wasn't a yes or a no. It was just a laugh and a kind of positive nod for his hospitality, but I didn't want to sit there and get in a political debate.
Do you ever, so you got 2 spots in Denver. Do you ever get embroiled with your customers over that shit?
No. Look, I'm a 3rd-generation bartender. My father and my grandfather, both bartenders. My father taught me at a young age. If you corner my father and ask him if he taught me anything about bartending, he'll tell you no. But I learned.
Why would he say that?
That's because he never sat me down and said, "This is what you do."
You just learned.
He would tell me things, and I learned as I went. And he always said, religion, sex, and politics. Stay away from it.
Never. Yeah.
Right. And I've kept to that on that side of the bar.
Right.
And I've you give it innocuous or neutral responses to everything, and it's part of hospitality. And,
you don't want to alienate customers, right?
Oh no. When a guy, first of all, that's another thing my father taught me is that the word customer doesn't exist.
Okay.
To me.
Yeah.
Everybody's a guest.
Oh, all right.
Because customer implies a cash transaction, and if you're looking at their wallets first, to me, then it's not. You've already lost the battle. Right. So customer is a 4-letter word, even though it's like a 10-letter word. in our both of our establishments, it's none of our staff is allowed to say that word.
Right.
But
that's good because it's implicitly develops a dynamic.
So it's a guest in your home. So if you had a guest in your home that was a maniacal Trump fan,
right?
And I'll say this first off, that whole shit is lunatic. Like the fact that anybody supports that crazy fucking strange-haired fuck.
You ever get kind of just a nice sense of Andy Andy Kaufman and this whole thing.
Yeah.
Right, where
have you seen that? Have you seen that one video that was produced about how it was a joke, like a couple of years ago? You have to find it.
Zamuda was behind that too, wasn't he?
It's so great. Like it's really great. Like it's two comedic writers that get hired to promote Trump as the president as a practical joke, and then they
turns
keep going,
into like a real.
Okay, when are we going to break the joke? When are we going to break it?
Have you goddamn, there's a Robin Williams movie that's actually the precedent for this. A Man of the Year or something like that. You've seen that where it's like he's a comedian, he's like, oh, I'll just do this thing.
There's a YouTube video that's about 15 minutes long that is hilarious, and I'll show you the link to it because it's ridiculous.
Where the fuck are we living right now, Sean? Like, what the hell is going on? Like, this is a big joke to me.
It's funny because one guy's on the phone, the other guy's like, he's like, tell him to tell everybody we're going to build a wall, a really big, a huge wall. A wall, and we're gonna make Mexico pay for it.
Yeah.
And then they laugh, and they're like high fiving each other, and then like, well, are we gonna break the joke tomorrow? They keep going that, and then when Trump gets more popular, their dress goes from being like in shorts and
like
sneakers,
kind of like we are, right?
Like they eventually they're in suits, going well, maybe we'll just let the joke last for 4, maybe 8 more years. It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
But so what do you like? And we can talk about politics because we can do whatever the fuck we want right now. This is the best thing, right?
Yeah.
But
I never get embroiled in those conversations.
No, I'm not because I'm pretty sure we agree on things. But let's just make it. It's absurdist, right? This whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Is it are we really going to enter an era where Trump leads the free world?
Yeah.
Do you think that's actually a real thing that'll happen?
I don't. I personally can't see it as a real possibility.
I can't either. Yeah.
And I have the maximum amount of Facebook friends. And that's you say that with the quote marks. That you
friends,
can't see on a podcast. But I put it out there 6 months ago. If any of my friends are actual Trump supporters and believers, I would just like to have a conversation with you because I want to understand. Private message me. We can do it offline.
Right. You don't have to air this in
I don't
public.
want to air it. I don't want to make it public. But I would really like to understand what makes people support this guy.
Right.
And I got 0 responses. So I don't.
May I offer one angle?
Huh?
And I've thought about this a lot because, why do people like Taylor Swift? Okay, I can see it, right? I can get it. I'm not a fan, but I can get it.
Well, I mean. It's catchy music and people want to bang her.
Right. So, there you go. It's a double-edged sword, right?
I mean, right. It's sexuality means, sex sells.
Well, it's, what it's like. So let's say you're married, I'm married, and the first time you meet, in my case, it was the father-in-law, but her stepdad, right?
Yeah.
So he's an abrasive dude. Love him now. We're great friends. But once he swears, then you can swear, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, once you throw out that racial invective and it's okay, everybody's sitting back in their recliner oh, yeah, fucking Mexicans.
Yeah.
But, he makes it somehow. He's figured out to make it okay.
He puts it out there. And, we were having this conversation last night, a bunch of us in the bar, a bunch of us that are on the ride. And, where people used to not that I've done this because I grew up in a place that was never acceptable.
Yeah.
But where conversations about or jokes or racist remarks started with the double look, look
right,
over one
right.
shoulder,
Look over the
other.
Right, we're cool.
That kind of thing. It's all cool. Trump makes that what he feeds into is making that just totally okay.
Yes. Right.
I mean, if you look at some shit that Trump supporters Trump is never completely, never, he's never said anything against the white power movement
right.
that was supporting him.
Yeah.
He's never disavowed them.
That's right.
In any way.
So
if you can find a statement that he's disavowed his white power support, tell me about it.
Yeah,
because I don't see it out there.
It's real weird. And someone needs to write a fictional book about this era because it is both laughable and embarrassing for all of us.
It's embarrassing. I think, I've been traveling when I came down here in 1992, I started saving my money so I could travel to Europe or travel the world.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks a year. Saved everything I had.
Yeah, amazing.
So 2 weeks either by myself or with a friend or with a girlfriend or whatever it was at the time. Travel and the two most evocative times in my life where people across the world wanted to know how I really felt.
Right.
Were during the Bush presidency.
First Bush or second?
Second Bush.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Yeah. And now the era moving into the Trump, like people want to know, like, do your people
They're
really
scared
take
for us,
this
aren't
guy
they?
They are scared for us. They're worried, But look what happened with fucking Great Britain, and the Brexit and that. I mean, Boris Johnson. What is it with people in power and the fucked up hair? Because that guy, he's got some fucked up hair too.
It's a correlation, I suppose.
There's something with somebody with that kind of vanity. You can't trust them. To me,
no way.
Like Trump, he's too vain to just let people know that he's balding. Right. I mean, I'm never.
We got him implanted. They just won't fall out now.
I'm not trying to hide my baldness in any way. I'm 47.
And you have really pretty much could support a punk rock haircut still.
But, I got it. But I was
47's pretty good.
I got back here. I got here. It is, eventually you can shave your head and you're still punk rock.
So a couple of things I really want to talk to you about. And something I really respect about you. Now, this is the thing about being not an exhibitionist, but a voyeur on Facebook. This is a great thing because you don't have to participate. You can just kind of read behind the scenes. You love your wife a lot.
I do, like crazy.
I think that's fucking awesome, man.
I'm glad that you see that on a, via Facebook. I mean, my wife is, work is nothing without a satisfactory, and a happy, private life.
How long have you guys been married?
So it's 10 years this August.
Amazing.
August 5th.
Yeah.
And we're about to celebrate. I mean, we're like a few weeks away from celebrating our 10-year anniversary.
It's incredible, man.
She's
Congratulations!
Love of my life.
On that.
She's everything. She's my balance.
Good woman make it all easier?
It does. It makes it all easier, but things to me aren't as. They're not as amazing without her there.
Yeah.
Like things could be really good. But if she's not there, they're just not amazing.
Totally.
So this trip, my wife is on the trip.
That's incredible that she rides too, I guess.
She's our social media. She's riding in a car.
Okay.
She's our social media director for the trip.
Amazing.
She's posting everything for Woody Creek. But I mean, it's so great to ride by a car and see her there. It's made every day fucking better. I'm 10 years in. I'm as madly in love with her as I was 2 months ago.
I think it's so important, man, because obviously the common story, even my folks, they've been together a long time, although they started a little late. But I just got married in April, second time, and this is a meaningful thing. Second time for you too?
I'm a second time. Everybody has to have a practice marriage.
Isn't the second? Now I'm going to say this again. Alex Trebek, man, he's like second time really means it. It does.
It's true. We both had my wife. It's my wife's second marriage too, and we both got married really early on, we're both, and we come from both divorced families. Like my parents were only together 2 years and then separated for 8. They got divorced at 10, but I've seen my parents together, my mom and dad together 10 times in my life.
That's crazy.
Same for her. We're never gonna have kids, but if we ever do, we're gonna have 8 grandparents. I mean, literally. You
guys are set. You can go vacation and travel.
Just go here, send them there, send them there.
You have a binder where it's who's due for the kids.
I mean, we can.
But that's not something you guys
only
really...
can have. No, we like to travel too much.
I feel absolutely, man.
Yeah, we just have to worry about our dog and let's get
the new kids or businesses, which I consider have a distillery. Right, that's the kid. Right. You got 2 bars; those are the kids.
That's the truth.
So how did this whole thing come about with Woody Creek? So we're sipping this rye, which is a 2-year rye, straight rye, 100%. You're telling me it's not sourced. These fucking madmen who put it all together.
They're out of their fucking minds.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I love them, and I whereas most brands reach out to a spirits professional or bartender, I found them.
How did the
chased after them. I was working for a couple local brands, and I saw what they were doing. Growing their own potatoes for the vodka and for the gin.
Yeah.
And growing their own rye for the rye, and I was like, these guys get it. They know what they're doing. They've figured out want to trust any outside sources as far as the quality what we're able to put out.
I like it because that's punk rock.
Yeah,
if you think about it, man,
it's DIY like a motherfucker.
It totally,
and for me, that was a brand that I wanted to work for, and I said, I came to them, and at that point when I came to them, I mean, I could have. There was a couple brands that I had working, a couple of international conglomerates.
You're a big guy, and people know you, man.
Yeah.
So,
but I wanted to work for somebody local and somebody small, and I really believed in what they were doing. And look, man, I worked for a brand before that for a little while that it just didn't work out like what they were doing.
Being a brand, did you like being a brand guy?
I'll never be a full-time brand guy because I'm a bartender first and foremost, and for my life, if there's nothing else I have, I still want to be a bartender.
And you can always do that till your legs fall off,
right?
Which is incredible.
My father just turned 70, and he's still bartending.
When did your dad turn 70?
June 5th.
My dad last Saturday, 70. Yeah, it's crazy, and they're still doing it, right?
Yeah, no, he's still back and forth. I was joking with my stepmom a couple months ago, because my dad started talking about retiring for the first time. Like, he's just going to wear a hole in the carpet, walking back and forth all fucking day. It's just because it's his social life is everything.
And it keeps you really sharp up here, right? But so these guys kind of have this. I mean, working with Rye, as we were kind of talking before the mics were on, not easy.
Working with Rye is a bitch.
It's total bitch.
And the folly, I called it when they first started. About doing 100% rye is insane because you ferment rye and it gets gelatinous and and it grows.
Such a pain in the ass.
And and you have to work it, and it's not an easy fermentation process.
And it doesn't give you that much sugar. It's not corn, right?
No, it's not corn. There's not a lot going on, and there's no malted barley, which is what converts for a lot of. Gives you the sugars to convert for everything.
So it's live,
right?
3 dudes playing a song, no fucking tricks,
right? And it's you got a singer, bass player, singer who is also playing bass. You got a guitar player, and you got a drummer. Like that's what they're doing.
Yeah,
and they figured it out as they went along, because it's also aging. It's aging at 8,000 feet.
Yeah.
And
it never gets that hot. Right?
No, it never gets that hot.
So you don't get the barrel doesn't do the movement it does.
It's not Kentucky, it's not like expanding a track. So things take a little longer. But I love what they've done with it. And they've got, their 2.5 to 3 year rye is great, which is what we're putting out now, but I can't to taste the 5 year.
So they've got some extra.
No. We're still it's working. There'll be 5-year rye at some point. It's exciting.
Well, so Woody Creek, where in Colorado are they out?
Basalt, which is right outside of Aspen.
Oh, outside of Aspen.
Yeah.
So 8,000
Aspen
feet,
Valley.
you're saying?
Yeah, Aspen Valley.
Are they pretty young dudes, older dudes, or?
They're older. I think a little bit older than me. I mean, I think 50s, mid 50s.
Yeah.
The two guys that own the company,
Because this rye for a 2-year straight rye. So normally, what I pick up on these younger ryes, even with Willett, man, because Willett's finally putting out juice and stuff. It's real punchy. It's real assertive. The mix isn't right. Right? Like it's a little tinny. That's probably the word I would use.
Yep.
This is not only relatively soft for 2 years, it's ultra fruity like you were talking about, but it's sweet. So anything that comes from the youth of it and any kind of ruggedness is like glossed over with some pop sensibility. Right. So in a way, it's Ramones-ish.
Yeah,
right?
and if you think about it, when you taste it, it's really the rye, like I said, it has that fruitiness, and for the 2 year, I almost think of it like a reposado rye. It's not an añejo yet.
No, you're right.
It's like a reposado. If you want to go in a tequila terms, like it's right there. You're like, oh yeah, I can't wait to taste this in a year and see where it's developed. Yeah. Because I honestly, and this is just a prediction because we don't have it yet, but I believe there'll be some spiciness to balance the fruitiness coming. Yeah. And I think it's really good now. I think it's going to be really great when it gets to 5. Just
some maturity, as they kind of learn.
80% of me says that's 100% true.
Yeah.
That's 100% true. And you know what I mean?
And this is 90 proof too, right? So it's got a little bit of legs on it, which is great.
Yeah, it's a right strength. They're not doing anything out there. Like, the gin is the right strength. It's all everything has some balls to it, and that's what I like about this company.
Really good. And it's something that also, because I was looking at the site before we were starting to chat, and they've got kind of like a limited edition vodka that's a single distillation, which is insane, mind you. You would never find.
Yeah. It's the Strabova.
Yeah.
Which is it's the same potato that they use in Belvedere. It's a Polish vodka making potato that's pretty common.
Yeah.
Woody Creek is actually the first company to cultivate that strain of potato in the United States, and they worked with Colorado State University.
Oh, it's amazing.
To actually develop it. And
free labor is the best, man.
What's that? Yeah, it's great because Colorado State's a huge agricultural university.
Yeah.
And they helped develop it, and literally Woody Creek has the only fields of that Strabova potato in the United States.
Oh, that's insane. Does it look about the same? It's like kind of standard brown.
We use a Rio Grande potato, which is a standard potato, a pretty starchy potato for the vodka. But the Strabova is they look similar. They're smaller.
Yeah.
They look like small rocks.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, where one is long and tubular, it's more rocky and round.
Did you guys bring any with you?
No, I mean, yeah.
Damn it.
We had to travel light.
I know.
With all the people on motorcycles.
So you guys ultimately are heading down to Tales, which is a full week, of education, of events, of brands, of apparently there's like venture capital stuff going on too, some pitches and stuff, which is really really cool. Yep. What is the main thing you want to take away from the festival or the conference this week?
So at this point, I've been. This is my 2007 is my 9th Tales of the Cocktail.
Shit, man.
And I've been to a ton of seminars, and I've been to a lot of the events. And now I help make those events happen. I work a lot of back of house, and as much as I am front of house and a lot of other things, like that's what I do. I like to make these things happen for tens of thousands of people. It makes me very happy.
You're the sound guy.
It's exactly
right.
But there's such a pleasure to that. When you get the sound right and you see everybody fucking moving up and down and dancing, like
you dialed it in.
Yeah,
you dialed the aesthetic in.
That's
insane, man.
And that's what I love from Tales. Executing these huge events, not being out front, not being the guy like giving speeches, giving seminars. I think for me, making sure everybody's happy, all the bartenders are happy from a hospitality standpoint, that's really important to me.
That's a killer, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have a good crew that's traveling in. So when are you heading off to New Orleans? Tomorrow?
We leave tomorrow for Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay.
And then we leave Monday morning for Tales.
Amazing.
For New Orleans.
So we got, we'll wrap because I hope, Sean, we can talk again, man, and you can be at the place and we can play guitar or whatever.
Yeah.
But not like hip, like shitty Austin guitar, which is like a specific style of guitar.
Yeah.
But I got some mezcal and stuff I'd love to share with you because I know that's another chapter we need to talk about is like your interest.
Woody Creek, because Woody Creek's in Texas now, and I'm excited. When I encourage them to get here, and what it might have been a little bit personal because I lived in Austin for 10 years and I love this city and I hope they bring me back here a whole bunch. And
do you know retail wise with the Rise running? If it's reasonable, you could kill it.
Yeah, it's about 50.
Okay.
Because it's about 50, and because we grow everything ourselves. It's not inexpensive.
It's a hard I get it, man. Totally get it. And it's cool that you're fighting the good fight. I'm glad that you found some co-conspirators that make spirits, right? No pun intended.
It's really like it's the DIY kind of punk rock of spirits to me.
Yeah.
And it spoke to me from the beginning.
And we got to talk again, man. It's been really a pleasure, Sean. Chad. Thanks so much for coming down, and the Rise, wonderful. The cocktail with the gin as well is quite nice.
Thank you, man. I wish I had saved some so I could toast with you. So we'll just go have to order another one.
Get it now.
Yeah,
and thank Half Step, of course, to Steven.
Yeah,
really.
Thanks a lot, Half Step.
Glad you guys are in town.
And even though as we talk about punk rock, Chris Bostic, who one of the owners of Half Step, is out at a hippie rock show. So
he is but just real quick, I've interviewed Chris.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much of a Fish fan he was.
Oh, he's He is. Yeah.
It is impressively sad to me how like good of a Fish fan he is.
Yeah,
Because I never got it, man.
I don't get jam bands, and I love Chris Bostic so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you see him being more into Slayer? If Chris was into Slayer, I think he'd be better.
My guess is he somewhere deep.
Yeah.
He appreciates Slayer.
I hope so. Man.
I was on my motorcycle yesterday in the trail because we have a lead car or a pack car.
Yeah.
And a trail car with us, and the people in the lead car were like, "What were you listening to this morning?" I was like, "I was listening to Slayer, Rain and Blood."
That's fucking right.
Because they said my head was just moving everywhere.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean,
it's symbolic.
Yeah,
man, it's symbolic.
So we were just shredding the road.
I'm glad you're back in Austin, and we'll grab another drink, man. Thanks so much for chatting, Sean.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. What do you guys think? There's some great rye whiskey just hitting Texas from Woody Creek Distillery. Sean is a great guy. He's easy to hang out with. It's nice to talk a little bit of politics, a lot of bit of music, and a little bit of marriage as well. And I can't wait to talk to Sean again. There's still the unexplored topic of agave, too. I know Sean is a massive mezcal fan. So, Sean, thanks so much. It was great to get to chat with you. So thanks everybody for listening to Show to V with Mike G. No matter which mezcal you're planning to taste with Steve Olson this week in his agave tasting at Alamo Draft House South Lamar, or how you're recouping from Texas Tiki Week last week, please keep dancing.